show. Thanks for watching tonight. In the fight over taxes, Democrats have simple fairness on their side. They have simple math on their side, and polls show that Americans favor ending tax cuts for the wealthy. So Republicans are forced, I guess you could say, to make stuff up, and they do a pretty damn good job of that, don't they? Like Congressman Joe Walsh, Republican of Illinois, talking about how tax cuts increase revenue to the government.
Every time we've cut taxes, revenues have gone up.
Every time? Republicans just love that saying, don't they? Every time we've cut revenues, we've cut taxes, revenues have gone up? I doubt it. But when the Bush tax cuts went into effect, revenues went down. Even taking into account the economic impact of 9/11, there was no reason to believe that the Bush tax cuts helped to raise revenue. Even 7 years later, revenues were lower than before the Bush tax cuts went into effect. But if you follow what the Republicans are saying, we should keep lowering taxes. And it sure is good news for the wealthiest Americans, isn't it? The effective tax rates for the 400 richest Americans, well, they've dropped since 1995. And boy, they went out and they just created a ton of jobs, didn't they? No, they did not. It's a fallacy. It's failed policy. But their income soared over those years. They were living large, and they were taxed less. So tell me about all the fairness, folks. Let's bring in Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and columnist for Tax Notes, David Cay Johnston. Mr. Johnston, good to have you with us tonight. Can we generate more revenue by reducing taxes? I mean, this is what the Republicans love to say. Can you please confirm something that they love to say, and it's obvious, that tax cuts do not increase revenues?
Not the tax cuts that they put in place. The federal government is taking in 27% less money from the corporate income, from the individual income tax than it did in the recession year of 2001. Since 2001, the income tax has fallen 27%, and there's more of us. So per capita, it's down 32%, recession year to recession year, and it's never gotten close on a per capita basis to getting back to 2001, Ed.
Well, the Republicans continue to talk about the deficit as a dire fiscal crisis. I mean, how bad does it have to get for them to consider raising taxes, or is this just doctrine with them?
Well, they intend to make it dramatically worse. Remember, they extended the Bush tax cuts for 2 years. They got Obama to do that. That made it worse. And now we have the Ryan Plan, Ed, and the Ryan Plan makes it very clear. The Republicans have now identified the major problem in this country that they see and the solution to that problem. The problem isn't jobs. It isn't the deficit. The problem is the rich don't have nearly enough, and we need to give them a 1/3 cut in the taxes on their earned income. And we need to pay for that by taking it from the sick, the disabled, the elderly, the poor, from children. That is, from those people with no power, no ability to do anything about their circumstances, because that's our problem, Ed. The rich don't have nearly enough.
You know, Mr. Johnston, I just don't know how the Democrats could not line up to defend these people when it is so clear what their target is. It's an economic target, what the Republicans have in this country, and that's the elderly, seniors, the disabled, students, the vulnerable, and the jobless. Also, they can, of course, get more tax cuts to what they say are going to create jobs. It isn't going to happen.
I don't think their plan will pass, but it's important to understand what they're proposing. And
exactly.
Congressman Ryan requires his staff to read Ayn Rand, whose fictional hero, Howard Rourke, is a man who blew up a building because it wasn't built exactly to his specifications as the architect. I mean, that's the kind of society we want, where our leaders say, not only are we going to take for the sick and poor, but we're going to hold out as a model people who commit felonies like blowing up buildings. I mean, we really need to dig into understanding the kind of people who would put forth these ideas.
David Cay Johnston, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate your time. Coming up, the Republican blueprint for democracy. Governor Rick Snyder of Michigan, well, he is leading the way. Could it happen in your state? The Republicans are still holding the debt ceiling hostage, even though their big business buddies are telling them, well, they have to raise it. So why aren't Democrats just calling their bluff on this? The Takedown is next. Stay with us.